Today on Capricorn Matters, we give advice on art, jobs, opportunities, and more with very special guest, Beth Pickens. Stay tuned. Capricorn Matters.
Unsolicited vegan food reviews, completely and totally unsolicited reviews for you. What are they gonna say? We didn't ask for it, but we got 'em anyway.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Unsolicited Vegan Food Reviews. Today, I don't know, it's probably vegan. Today we're eating, drinking a soda, a flavored seltzer water, unclear. Don't drink it yet.
I was just smelling it. It's from
called,
Turkey.
It's called Sarakis, and I might be saying that really wrong. And the flavor is strawberry watermelon. And Steve and Tyler are here, and we're gonna all taste it inside the grocery store. Oh. Wow.
She's a lot of woman for a clear beverage.
It's like there's a layer of perfume underneath it.
There was a layer of perfume on top too. Did you smell that? I actually just recently traveled and stayed in some Airbnbs, and this tastes like the smell of that type of air freshener that looks like incense.
Ooh,
stick
yep.
In a liquid, I guess.
Yeah.
It's now doing that to your insides.
Yeah.
It's an interior cleaning. It's a fragrance for your body.
It's a fragrance for our bodies. That's the review. So I bought a different flavor of this, and the flavor is vitamin C, which I think it's gonna go better. It also looks like there's either beets or radishes in here, according to this. Anyway, it's spelled Sarikiz. That's the beverage. I wouldn't probably buy this strawberry one, but vitamin C, take a gamble.
Yeah, it's like a lipstick on a collar or a drink.
It's lipstick on a collar as a drink.
Nice.
All right. We opened another drink, and this one is called Bitters and Soda with Cardamom. The brand is The Bitter Housewife, which I don't know that I love. And it's 0 alcohol, 0 sugar. I'm just guessing vegan. It's just got water and spices and tea in it. I don't know what gentian or quassia is. Do you? I'm here with my friend Marissa, and we're gonna tell you about it. My review is it's like too bitter. It says bitter twice on the can, but I still wasn't prepared for how bitter.
It's like bitter and watery at the same time.
Yeah. But a thing has happened today where Marissa keeps telling me about the flavors of foods just with a sound. And then she made a sound for this, and I'd like to share it with you.
The taste is like...
It's spot on.
I feel like you also need the hand movement, though.
Yeah.
It's important.
Which is like a squeezing kind of hand movement.
Downward motion.
Palm up, and you just squeeze down like you have a bunch of tomatoes on a string.
Like how snow falls down a mountainside.
Oh, but it's falling
not on an
straight
angle,
down.
Straight down. But it's like, that's the movement.
That's the taste of Bitters and Soda Cardamom by The Bitter Housewife.
Hi, listeners. I have just a couple notes, actually a few, before we get to my talk with Beth Pickens. Number 1, the unsolicited vegan food reviews you heard today were by friend to the show, Dawn Riddle. You can find her online at dawnriddle.com or at Instagram, dawn_riddle. Check her out. She's a multidisciplinary artist with a lot of photos, videos, plays, paintings, drawings, weavings. She really is an incredible artist. Check out Dawn Riddle. Okay, secondly, I wanted to let you know that this interview with Beth Pickens was recorded before the Supreme Court overturned Roe v. Wade. And that is the only reason we don't mention it in our talk. Lastly, in more apocalypse news, yes, after over 2.5 years-ish of hiding from COVID-19, I got it. I got it outdoors. I believe that I got it from an outdoor patio hangout with 2 friends. I was 6 to 8 feet away from one of them who tested positive the next day. I tell you this because I definitely got it outdoors. I got it outdoors unmasked, and I encourage you all to keep wearing masks. And if you feel like a weirdo, that's okay. Keep Portland weird. Keep Austin weird. Keep wherever you are weird. You know, I came up as a punk at a time when people didn't trust the government, especially not to tell them what to do with their bodies. And I just don't think that the CDC or any kind of medical entity that is in bed with capitalism is going to tell me the exact right thing to do with my body. I just don't. So I'm not going to tell you what to do, but trust your gut. It's okay to be weird. And we're still in a pandemic. So if it feels like we're still in a pandemic, that's because we're still in a pandemic. Anyway, listeners, thank you for listening. I appreciate every single one of you. You can follow us on Instagram at Sagittarian Matters. You can follow me on Patreon at Nicole J. Georges. I appreciate it very much. And in the meantime, please enjoy my talk with friend to the show, Beth Pickens. Beth Pickens is the author of the books Your Art Will Save Your Life and Make Your Art No Matter What. Beth is an arts consultant, a Capricorn, and an esteemed friend to the show. You can join her homework club right now at bethpickens.com. Beth joined producer Ponyo and I in the Capricorn Matters social distancing studios shortly after I recovered from COVID. Now please enjoy my talk with Beth Pickens. Beth Pickens, welcome back to Sagittarian Matters.
Oh, man,
Capricorn
Matters. It feels like it's been a while. I don't know how long, but it feels like it's been a while.
A lot's changed.
So much has always changed.
I've received the virus.
I continue to be Matt Damon's character in Contagion and just like somehow immune to it because somebody's got to deliver soup. So thank God.
Thank God. And thank you for delivering soup to me.
It was my pleasure.
I really, really appreciated it.
Many of the friends were down recently. I
feel like Kate Winslet's character in Contagion. And you do continue to be Matt Damon's character. Beth Pickens, we have a few questions from listeners. But right now it's June, which is Pride Month. Happy Pride Month. Happy Target Pride.
Happy Target Pride Month.
Is there anything going on right now that's making you feel specifically prideful?
Being off of Instagram for the month of June, which I high rec to people to do that, especially people of the queer persuasion. I get so bummed out by being on any social media, period, but definitely during Pride Month, it's just particularly heinous. It feels like an assault on my eyes and my soul. And so I take off for the month of June and I ask friends to send me any really good memes and TikToks, especially Pride related, that I need to see, which people have been doing quite a bit. I've seen that Austrian Burger King Whopper tops and bottoms ad from like 5 different people. Mm-hmm. Grateful for that. Last night I went to Dirty Looks and Semiotech's release reading event for Cookie Mueller's new expanded collection of writing, Walking Through Clear Water in a Pool Painted Black, which was a fantastic event with people like Ron Athey, Michelle T, Nikki Darling, DL Alvarez, Chris Kraus, and an artist whose name I'm blanking on, unfortunately, who was fantastic and was dressed up in a way that referenced both Cookie Mueller and Edith Massey. And this event it made me so grateful to be in Los Angeles. And it made me feel the opposite of what happened to me when I went into Target and saw the Target Pride collection. I felt grateful to be queer, connected to like queer freaks over time and generation, living and dead. And actually the final reader was a recording of Cookie Mueller in the last reading she did before she died of AIDS in 1989 at age 40.
Holy cow.
So everybody do yourself a favor, put down the Target Pride collection. You can buy it on sale in August. Go to Semiotext, go to your local bookstore and get this new expanded collection of Cookie Mueller's writings. You will not regret it. The Berlin Film Festival story, which Michelle T read last night, and it was iconic. That story alone will make the whole book just such a gift in your bookshelf.
Oh my God, I can't wait. Well, I got nothing to do but sit and read. So let's
sit there
do
because
it.
you've got SARS coronavirus 19, which is its Christian name.
Here's what I've been watching this week. I have watched all of Couples Therapy season 3,
Me
Hacks season
Me-
2,
Me as well.
Stranger Things season 4,
Haven't seen it.
part 1. And then what else did I watch? Oh, I Love That for You. I'm up to date.
I need to start that.
And RuPaul's Drag Race. All Stars.
I am up to date that. And I've listened to all of Race Chasers episodes about the All Stars, All Legends season, which I'm enjoying so much. And it's starting like a new love affair with me for Jinx Monsoon, who I always knew was gifted and talented, but seeing her this season, her as Judy Garland, I've watched that segment of that episode 3 times.
Oh my God. I love her. I love her. My love for her does not cease.
She is a freak.
Mary Potter, are you ready to answer some advice questions?
I got nothing but advice and matcha and time.
Okay, wonderful. Dear Capricorn Matters, how do I make more room for my art, which is music, when work takes up so much space? From Musical in Mississippi.
Yes, I want to say first, Musical in Mississippi. This is one of the main questions my clients bring to me all the time, especially people who work full-time jobs and people who work in academia. And my first piece of advice is always to look to where are you overworking, doing too much, giving too much of yourself, and not detaching from your job. Because your day job, whether or not it's a full-time job in a career that you trained for or something that you do just for money, no matter your relationship to it, its primary reason for existing is to pay for your life. And it's really helpful when we remember why we work paying jobs. It's for money. Whereas your work, your creative work, it does a lot of different things for you, including sometimes, hopefully often, money, but it does so many other things. And your paying job can do other things too. But I think a helpful boundary for artists is to reduce the scope of commitment for their paying jobs back down to, I do this for money. That's its most important function in my life. And to look for ways in which you can begin to limit your commitment to it. Are you giving your job 110%? Many people are wired to give everything 110%. And for artists, I always recommend look at your paying jobs or gigs and figure out what would 90% be? What if I give this 90%? What would that look like? Would that mean I no longer I respond to nothing outside of the work hours? Or I'm sure to always take my sick days and vacation. I take my lunch and it's not at work. I work from home as much as possible and kind of steal back my time. How can you begin to contain the job? That's part 1. Part 2 is where can you feed more time and resources to your creative work? Where can you take it back from other things that don't deserve that time and give it to your art? But first, look to how can you contain the job? What do you think about that? You've worked billions of different paying jobs over the years of being a professional artist.
I sure have. Don't quit your day job, anybody ever, but your day job can change. I think that your current Instagram social media fast for June is a wonderful place to pick up some time. I mean, I guess the thing I want to say to artists that I try to do for myself is Don't be too much of a perfectionist or a boss to yourself about the time you do have. So, I tell students all the time, Jean Yang, who wrote the graphic novel American Born Chinese, had kids, had a full-time job teaching high school, and he woke up not hours early every day, but 15 minutes early every day so that he had 15 minutes at his drawing desk. And so he would draw one panel a day. So if you're a musician, just give yourself, even if you have a little bit of time, just pick up your instrument and just noodle or just play a cover, or don't make it like every time you do your craft, it has to be the genius moment, because you're not going to get to the genius moments that way. So sometimes I sit down at my desk. I don't know what I want to do. I feel low energy after working, but I'm just going to sit here with my tools, with my wizard's tools, and just do something. And it's okay if it's not like the thing I'm supposed to do.
Mm-hmm.
Like just engaging with and like touching your project.
Touch your project. Touch your woman.
Touch your woman. Touch your instrument.
Touch your instrument. That made me think also related to social media fast. Sometimes I'll hear from artists a lot, like, after work, I don't have the capacity to get into my practice. And that's probably true some days after work, or maybe all days after work, depending on the nature of your day jobs. I think the more you can prioritize resting a day and increasing restorative activities and decreasing numbing activities, you will actually find more capacity to work on your project, more energy to get into it. So less time on things that numb you after work and more time on things that are rest and restoration, so that when you have time outside of your job, you actually have the capacity to spend some time inside of your project or your practice.
That's really wise. That's very wise, Beth Pickens. I don't recommend it, but there was a time when I was finishing a graphic novel while I was teaching middle schoolers full time for a limited amount of time. And I would have to drive from the suburbs to home, take a nap, get some food, get the dog, go to my studio. And there were sometimes where I just would be crying in the car, being like, I don't want to do it. I don't want to draw. I want to work more tonight. And then my mean mom inside of me was like, you have to, because you have a deadline. So you're going to get in there. You're going to listen to your playlist. You're going to order yourself a nice dinner and you're going to finish your pages.
Well, deadlines are really necessary for that. So another thing I would say to this musician is get yourself a deadline, a performance, recording time for some work that you've been composing, but something that lights a fire where it becomes your priority to give more time to your work.
I've only ever gotten anything done by painting myself into a corner. And sometimes that just involves me reaching out to other people to be like, hey, do you want to do an anthology? Hey, I'm going to show up at this place at this time with this thing. And then that's how I do it. I mean,
most people don't do anything unless there's a deadline or somebody waiting for you to do it. I mean, who wants to do anything in this stage of life? Nobody wants to do anything. We all want to lay on the couch watching one screen with another screen in our hands. Duh. So we have to have reasons to do the things we actually want to do in life.
Yeah. Well, this brings us, I also have some questions, some blast from the past questions for us.
Ooh.
But let me get to the questions, not from yesteryear, but the questions from now, and then we'll get to those. The next question we have from the present day is, Beth Pickens, would it be fun for you to coach a dog trainer / artist combo?
I can work with any artist. Sorry.
Combo in Connecticut. Combo in Connecticut.
Yeah. Connecticut artist who also trains dogs. I can work with any artist. Artists that I work with do every manner of job. I don't coach because I don't have any training in anything having to do with coaching. My background is in counseling psychology, but I'm not licensed. So I operate as a consultant, and coaching refers to, as far as I understand, a particular kind of certificate program. So that's not what I do. But yeah, hit me up through my website, bethpickens.com.
What if somebody wanted to join Homework Club?
Oh boy. Well, do I have a deal for you? Homework Club, which of course is my monthly subscription for artists to keep them moving in their practice, is only $15 a month. And you go to bethpickens.com and it's just a click away. I want to have that set to Gimme Shelter, just a click away.
Okay.
The reason why you should join Homework Club is because I give you homework on the first of the month. Carolyn Pennypacker Riggs and I do this. You have a live workshop that's also taped to watch later on a theme. This month was repairing your relationship to social media. And you get put into a hand-selected accountability pod with 3 other artists. If you want, you don't have to do that part. You don't have to do any of it. You can just pay me every month. That's okay too. But you should join because right now we're going to be launching some new extra bells and whistles later this summer, including something just in time for Guggenheim hopefuls to aid in their applications this fall. And the price is going to go up later 2022. Because I don't know if you've noticed, friends, listeners, country people, the cost of living has skyrocketed. There is nary a grocery I buy that I haven't realized has gone up at least $1. Gas, of course, is $36 a gallon here in Los Angeles. My utilities, everything is so fucking expensive that we all have to make more money to pay for the cost of living. I'm self-employed, which means I have to raise my own prices. So Homework Club's going to be going from $15 to $20. But if you join before the rates go up this fall, you stay locked in at that sweet, sweet $15 a month price.
Oh my God, really?
That add in. Yeah.
Hey, that's great. Thanks for that. That's a live ad. This is like we're old timey radio, like from the movie Annie.
Like ding, ding, ding.
Hey, hobo man. Hey, dapper Dan. Okay. Dear Beth Pickens, do I shell out money for the ultra competitive summer writing workshop I was accepted to from Writing in Wisconsin?
Writer in Wisconsin, yes. If you have the money that you can put into this without creating hardship in your life, yes, absolutely do this thing. Invest in yourself as a writer. If you don't have the money, ask other people to help you pay for it. But yes, you should absolutely do this important investment in your writing career.
Especially if it's ultra competitive and you wanted to do it.
Yeah.
Just do it. Come on. We might get hit by a meteor any day.
Oh, if only.
Today's episode is brought to you by Josephine McRobbie, Shoshana Ruth Wechter, and Joey Soloway. If you would like to support Sagittarian Matters, in particular producer Chris Sutton, please send $5, $5 million, that's your business, via PayPal to hornetleg@gmail.com. Or, this just in, he's got a Venmo, Hell Books. That's HE double hockey sticks books. Thank you for your support, and we look forward to saying your name on the podcast. Producer Ponyo looks forward to it too. Don't be scared, that's just Ponyo's speaking voice. Okay, I'm going to go back into the files. I'm going to go into the files of yesteryear.
Oh my God. You're in the Sagittarian Matters microfiche right now?
I have the microfiche out. I'm turning the wheel. Dear Sagittarian Matters, I have terrible luck with women. Why? I don't know.
Is that Allie Lib got writing in?
There might be more to it than luck.
There's definitely more to it than luck.
I don't know if it's just that there's not an upside down horseshoe over your door. I think there might be a little more to that.
But what do we know is the best thing for people who want to work on their ability to have relationships? 3 words: therapy.
Have a good relationship with yourself and a consistent one with your therapist. Gosh. Hold on. What's the best snack?
The best snack? Well, if it's on sale, cheesy kale chips, in my opinion, but only if they're on sale, because that's another thing that's $36 a gallon.
I think a strawberry right now, 'tis the season, a strawberry dipped in tahini is the best snack. And the other best snack, but it's a dangerous game because you're not going to want to put it down, is the chocolate tahini from Soom. It's very sweet. And you're going to find yourself eating a whole jar of essentially nut butter with powdered sugar in it. We're going to want to eat it in one sitting, and you're never going to want to eat anything else. You're never going to want to eat a vegetable again. You're just going to want to eat chocolate tahini for the rest of your life, which could make you happy, but I think it's going to leave your teeth in ruin.
Yeah. God, tahini's so good. Halva's so good. That sounds like liquid halva, basically.
It is like liquid halva. It's like you had the best dark chocolate halva that just melted and then you had a spoon.
Mm.
Dear Capricorn Matters, how do I forgive myself for my own shortcomings? From Need to Forgive in Florida.
Well, get out of Florida. That'll help. Just kidding. Florida's great. How to forgive ourselves for our shortcomings. I think shortcomings or character defects or whatever you want to classify them as, they're just assets that are out of whack. In Judaism, one of my favorite things I've learned about is the Musar tradition of Jewish spiritual life. And Musar is the study of something called midot, which means character assets, essentially character traits. And there's a whole list of them. And the way Musar works is all of these are just attributes and they get out of balance and they have to be brought into balance. So how you can forgive yourself of your character defects or whatever language you want to put on it is just see, oh, this is just like an attribute that got out of whack. I just have to bring it back into balance. And I might need help from a spiritual program or therapy or talking to a trusted friend. But it's just that you're just deeply human and our spiritual, our character attributes, they get out of balance in life. They get knocked around. It's kind of like when you're bringing groceries home, things get shuffled around.
This reminds me of, I read in a 1980s relationship book once that was
How to get cocaine stains off the bathroom tile.
Yeah. It was recommended by Dr. Drew on Loveline. He said, the person who wrote the book said something basically like the thing that most attracts you to somebody is later the thing that will repulse you about them, which I've always tried to remember through my life as a person. When there's something that's driving you crazy about somebody, what is its connection to the thing about them that you really were like, yes. And then what's that thing in yourself?
Oh, should we do this as a live exercise on ourselves or on each other?
On each other.
Why I first fell in love with you and then grew to hate you. Let's do it now. Let's have it now.
Well, like you, Capricorn, are probably like, think that like Aquarians and Sagittarians are a great time. But
they're free. To me, I'm like, you're free. There's something about you that's inherently free.
But then we're too free. I wager.
Well, not you specifically, although you have a lot of freedom that I don't feel like I have inside of me. You have it inside of you.
But like Aquarians in your life, where you're like, God, I love them. They're so free. They're so fun.
Mm-hmm. They're space aliens floating away. And I need to know them because they are the opposite of me in terms of what's in my soul. And I'm like, how could you lose your wallet this many times in 1 year? Yeah. And people love me. I know people love me because I'm organized and attentive and present and responsible. And then they're like, if this bitch doesn't get her death grip off my neck and everything in my life, I don't think I can breathe.
It's the blessing and the curse.
Yeah. It's just attributes that get out of whack. So like, I am really responsible and, I believe in duty and having a sense of ethical responsibility to people, places, things. And that gets out of whack and makes me have a hyper sense of responsibility, which leads to resentment, or it makes me have an inflated sense of duty where it's not called for, or I can pay more attention to other people's lives than my own. So I have to keep that character attribute just in moderation so that it serves, so that it does the most good everywhere for me and everyone else.
Oh, I love those things about you. Well, I don't know. I think that, probably it's fun to be like, oh, Nicole will say anything that's on her mind. And then sometimes at a certain point, people are like, wow, you just said anything that's on your mind.
You are extremely smart and funny.
Thanks, friend. Or like, it'll come off as being, like harsh at a certain point, like the same thing that maybe somebody's like, I hear you talking about somebody else and it's so funny. And then they're like, oh no, that feels kind of harsh.
I think you and I both get accused of harshness, which is, again, so what is that gets out of whack? It's honesty, it's clarity, it's seeing things with a clearer vision and being able to reflect it back into the world. And then when that gets out of whack, it's like harshness or too much, or, hey, nobody asked you.
Well, Beth Pickens, I love all of your attributes.
I love your breasts too. Thank you.
Okay. This is a question from the vaults, and you're going to know it's from the vaults because it's seasonally inappropriate. Dear Capricorn Matters, my forever bestie is a straight white cis male. I'm a queer female. In the past 18 months, he's been doing and saying things that drive me crazy. Political, misogynist, not all men kinds of things. I've tried to push back and talk to him in a loving and honest way, but he often strikes back defensively. He just told me he's going as Brett Kavanaugh this year for Halloween. When I told him a lot of folks might find that triggering and perhaps he can rethink his costume, he responded with a dismissive, "That's okay." Should I just keep my distance from this person because interacting with them causes me frustration and sadness? Or should I try once more to communicate my feelings? It's doubly offensive / problematic because he thinks he's one of the good guys, but he's not. From friend in Fremont. Oh, I had a friend that went into a not all men kind of spiral at a certain point, and I had to take a step back because the things that were happening in the world were so personally, that made me feel so personally vulnerable and exposed and sensitive, like things happening to me and groups I cared about, that this person could not kind of go there with me. Right. And so then it just became like, well, then I don't know what there is to talk about.
Yeah. Well, it's funny you said seasons and what season this is from, but relationships have seasons, right? And sometimes relationships, for a lot of different reasons, get turned up and turned down for so many different reasons. And in this case, I think probably a lot of really great guys probably lost their shit during the same time we who weren't them losing our shit around something like Brett Kavanaugh, and a way it got expressed for them landed in places like that, where to those of us who were not them were like, Jesus, good God, please keep that away from all of us. But in the other worlds in which they live, they were probably very fringe, critiquing systems of power. But that doesn't mean we could all mix in that moment. Like that might be a moment where it's like, oh, okay, we can't hang right now, but we're gonna be able to hang again. And that happens with external big things and with internal small things. So when a friend's going through a divorce, for example, they might not be super available or focused, or you might struggle in your relationship to them. But again, it's a season, something's happening, and it doesn't mean you have to tank the relationship. So I think in this particular example of the constraints of what we know about, because this is this person's, I think, oldest and best friend, I think that was one of the qualifiers they said, it's worth backing away without discarding. And just focusing, rather than thinking about, I'm putting this relationship down, I'm not paying attention to you, turn up the other relationships and trust that there will be a time that you can probably come back together that won't feel so heightened and inflamed, where you might be able to talk about this and he might be able to hear it differently. Look at me defending a man. What's happening? What's in my matcha? I'm like, not all men too.
He sounds like a great guy, and Brett Kavanaugh is a perfect Halloween costume.
Yeah. I mean, that would have made me feel crazy too. So I really empathize with this person, but I also empathize with the fact that this is somebody they love. So how to protect that relationship, even if they can't be super involved in it right now. Yeah.
I mean, it makes me go back to some kind of therapeutic principles of thinking, like, quit taking it personally. You know, like when you and your friend are going through different seasons, your friend is having his response to the Kavanaugh hearings.
Right.
It's not at you. He's not doing it at you. It's not your job to fix him for womankind. You know, it's not personal. It's just it's just a choice that person's making. So then you get to make a choice.
Drag. It's not personal, it's drag.
It's not personal. It's just the rest is drag. So it's just, you get to then, do whatever you need to do to nourish yourself then without burning any bridges.
Yeah. I mean, people go through all kinds of things that have to do with their personal lives and or external systems that affect relationships, that we just don't have any control over that. But if it's a relationship that's important, then I think it's, like I said, I think it's just worth, maybe you just kind of pay attention to other relationships right now and then check back in, give it some time.
Yeah.
Which is not what I would have said in my 20s. I would have been like, you tell that motherfucker to go. But the wisdom of age has softened me.
I think it's true. I think there's just times where you're feeling more hardy. So, like, I don't know. I feel like I have a certain allotment for other people's shenanigans based on how hardy I'm feeling. And like, if there's just been some kind of crisis politically or a hate crime against gay people, I don't want to see that person the next day.
Yeah.
Maybe that's not who I'm going to talk to the next day. But
Totally.
if there's been a momentary lapse in hate crimes, maybe we can hang out.
If you just haven't looked at news in 6 weeks, you're like, you know what? I'm feeling great.
Oh, well, Beth Pickens, do you have any questions? Do you have anything you want to talk about? Any favorite blast from the past questions, motifs, anything you want to speak to?
I want to recommend more things I've done.
Great.
In the newest issue of Carla, which is Contemporary Art Review of Los Angeles, which you can read for free online, I have an essay right now that I'm very proud of.
It's a beautiful essay.
And it's cool, and it's translated into Spanish too, if people want to read it in English or Spanish. It's called Turn and Return, the Artist Practice During Trauma, or as Jamie Lee Curtis would say, trauma. And I really want to just make that as an offering because you can read it online so easily for artists who are struggling in any way right now and feeling it in their practice as a resistance to their practice, or, like when the harshness of the world is showing up in your ability to make your work. I wrote that essay for you, and I would love to just offer that to you.
I have a perennial question for you, which is, there's so many serious things going on in the world right now. Should people stop making their art if it's not political?
No, never stop making your art. Keep making your art about whatever you want to make it about. It doesn't have to be about anything that's legible to anybody else. You just have to take the utterances that are inside of you and try to manifest them outward, because all kinds of art is needed and beloved. So whatever you have to say on your insides, please help that come out in whatever discipline you're working in.
And that's it. Thanks for coming back on the pod. We appreciate and adore our Capricorn Matters episodes.
Oh, I just love being here so much. And I love your podcast because I'm a listener.
Longtime listener, longtime friend to the pod. Sagittarian Matters is produced by Chris Sutton with assistance by Panyo Georges. Our theme music is composed by Carolyn Pennypacker Riggs of the band Bouquet. Thank you for listening, and I'll see you next time.